Tonight, from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida, it's a special prime time edition of the NFL on EA Sports. We'll see Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins taking on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
From beautiful South Florida, there's a look at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. The excitement brewing here in South Florida as a moment ago the Dolphins starters were introduced to this home crowd. They're fired up as well as they get set to match up with the Baltimore Ravens.
Sanders to kick off for Miami.
Here's Jason Sanders now to get this one started, and we are underway from Hard Rock Stadium. Fielded in the end zone, and he opts to not bring this one out. The first drive will start at the 25. Here comes the Ravens on offense, and the man in charge from Louisville, the former MVP, Lamar Jackson.
We've had dual-threat quarterbacks in the NFL in the past, and we've had some really good ones. But I don't know if we've had one quite like Lamar Jackson. Led the league in touchdown pass with 36 last season. Set the all-time record for rushing yards in a single season for a quarterback at over 1,200 yards. And he led his Baltimore Ravens to 14-2.
And right away, he lost the football. And this is picked up by the Dolphins. And this is brought all the way back. A fumble recovery and taken to the house for a Miami touchdown. That's the perils of being a rookie running back in the NFL. I mean, look, it's not easy to hold on to the ball at any level with these talented guys. But in this league, you can learn a lesson early.
Without a doubt, and what a tough reminder for any running back, especially a rookie. The things you got away with in college probably won't work so well in the NFL.
And that makes it 7-0 Dolphins. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way. The fumble return for a touchdown.
Jason Sanders to kick off for Miami.
And you can bet they're preaching two hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. Takes this about 5 yards deep. And this will not be returned. It'll come out to the 25. The football back over to Baltimore and J.K. Dobbins. He's probably a little angry at himself. It was his fumble, obviously, a moment ago that led to the scoop and score touchdown that has him down early.
And now we find out about the psychology aspect of being a coach. Because when you have a guy that's just happened, some people want to take him out of the game immediately. Others say, you know something? Let's feed him the ball again next series and see if he's going to be able to atone for it. Let's see what they decide to do.
Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
On the stop. 2 yards on the pickup. It's 2nd and 8.
Jackson now. That's complete to his running back, J.K. Dobbins. Give him 3 on the screen. He couldn't break free, and it's 3rd down.
So many things have to come together just right for a screen pass to break for big yardage. The blocking, the timing of the pass to the runner. Everything has to fit together just right. But on that play, the defense was able to disrupt things and hold it to a short game.
So no sack. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, but it'll still bring up a 4th down.
Well, he strung it out as far as he could, and I like the fact that he kept his eyes downfield, but he finally ran out of time and room. But I'll take that over forcing it downfield and possibly having it intercepted.
So on 4th down, here's Sam Cook to punt it away. Jakeem Grant back deep for Miami. Looking up into the lights, and he muffs it. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble. The Dolphins now taking the field, led by the 5th overall pick back in April out of Alabama. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa.
And absolutely love this young man coming out of the University of Alabama because of what he did for the Crimson Tide. His last year there, 33 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions before the hip injury suffered in the middle of November. They want him healthy, obviously, because if so, one of the most accurate throwers coming out of college football in the last 10 to 15 years. And the Dolphins, they haven't taken a quarterback in the top 5 since a guy named Bob Greasy, now a Pro Football Hall of Famer. They took him back in 1967.
Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and putting the defense back on its heels.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Here's Gaskin. And he'll be stopped right at midfield. It's a pickup of 12. Second play in a row with a 12-yard gain.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. They'll run now with Gaskin. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
And they didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space.
Here's Tagovailoa on 1st and 10. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he's brought down, but not before he reaches the 8-yard line. Come on, guys, let's go! Call that a very strong gain of 24. I don't think there's anyone who could possibly doubt how fast he could run on the open field. But if there were, he silenced those thoughts there.
And that's the kind of play where you have to kind of catch your breath afterwards. So just give me a second here, because when he shifted into high gear, he was an absolute blur out there. No substitute for speed. We talk about that all the time. The evidence was right there.
And if you're wondering how fast he was going, next-gen stats clocked him at close to 21 miles an hour. 2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Now, here's a look for the end zone, but that one's going to wind up incomplete. The intended receiver was Jakeem Grant, but it'll be 2nd and goal.
2nd and goal.
This is Gaskin on the carry. They'll get this halfway home from the 8 to the 4 on a gain of 4.
He was brought down at the 4.
A big play forthcoming. Here's 3rd and goal. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. Big play coming here. It's 3rd and goal. From the gun, it's Tua. Fine work by the Baltimore defense to help bring up 4th down.
They really had a good drive going there, but a nice recovery by the defense these past few downs, able to knock that one away on 3rd down and bring up what I think for the offense, an unexpected 4th down here.
Tua on 4th down. Forced out to his left. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. Taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Dolphins are able to extend that advantage. I'm pretty sure that was a passing play, but he took off pretty quickly and ran with it.
Love his decisiveness on it, because you're exactly right. He was supposed to go back in the pocket and survey the field and throw the football. But when that hole opened, he just said, forget it, let's go. And boy, did that work out well.
Sanders now to add the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. So that drive takes him down the field in 8 plays. And it was Tua Tagovailoa who called his own number and finished it off with a touchdown run. Now after the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Sanders. This taken in about 4 yards deep. And he'll decide to not bring this one out as their drive will begin at the 25. The Ravens ready to take over.
And this is their 3rd drive. Right now, maybe not about points, just about getting something. They haven't gotten a first down yet in this game.
It's a mental barrier you don't think about until you go a couple of drives without getting a first down. Then all of a sudden it looms big. It gets harder and harder to actually attain that first down.
Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1.
A gain of 9 brings up 2nd and 1 at the 34-yard line.
Not a whole lot of room to run. Gets it to the 35 after showcasing the great move. Only a yard there on the keeper, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd down. This time, Jackson will throw it. And he's going to drop this off to his fullback. And he'll go out near midfield at the 49. They get 14 on that one. That's good for a Baltimore first down.
When you struggle on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
Jackson on first down. And that'll be complete to Dobbins. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18.
Partner, you know when we call a game, we talk about Lamar Jackson and his speed and his elusiveness and the ability to get him on the ground and how tough that is for a defense. But how about his development as a thrower, as a professional?
Two minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. Jackson throwing on target to Brown. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Another strong gain on the last 2 plays. They've moved it a combined 33 yards.
Well, these guys have definitely been outplayed in the first half. I like their countenance. I like the way that they haven't panicked out there, the way they're carrying themselves. They're starting to move the ball, and what you have to do, maintain your poise and start to put together some drives.
First red zone chance now for the Ravens. They have a 1st and 10 at the 18. Jackson will throw again. He'll find Dobbins out of the backfield. And oh my goodness, he loses it again. They'll contain him to just 4. 2nd down. 2nd time he's fumbled in this game. Fortunate for him, this one goes out of bounds.
And the key for him now is how much equity have you built up with your coaching staff? How much equity have you built up with your team to continue to get opportunities? Fortunate that one went out of bounds, saved him from a turnover.
Four yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Again, Jackson. And it's incomplete. Defensively, Charles, they continue to really limit this offense as far as yardage goes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been assignment sound, staying in their lanes, keeping proper leverage, and communicating well, too.
He's got it. And he can't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. They'll come out in the pistol. And And Jackson throwing once more. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
They'll try to run with Dobbins. And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. Punching it in from a yard away. And the Ravens draw a bit closer. People always talk about one of his biggest strengths running the football, vision, and he found the spot there and went into the end zone.
You're exactly right about that. It wasn't just the vision, right? Once he saw the gap, decisiveness, made up his mind, and about the power to finish the play. Not only did he get good blocking, he created his own space as well.
Justin Tucker for the extra point. And that one makes it 14-7. So the drive goes 75 yards, 10 plays. And it's finished off by a touchdown run from J.K. Dobbins.
Justin
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line. Getting set to go again as we look at the back heading onto the field again. He's been effective so far over the 40-yard mark here in the second quarter. Don't forget about those guys up front, though. They've been effective, too.
The leverage game has been in their favor. They've been the ones who've been able to bend their knees, drop their hips, and get a little bit lower than the guys on the other side of the football, and they've moved them out of the way for the runner.
Sometimes that's tough for those big fellas.
Not an easy thing for them to do.
He's going to fire one deep over the middle. He's got it at the 15. And they're going to have this in a great spot way down in Baltimore territory. Anyone still wondering about Tua's arm strength here in his rookie season? Wonder no more. That was a rocket.
And for a while when this place opened, all the talk was about punts hitting the Giants scoreboard here in Arlington. I don't think we ever heard about a pass hitting the scoreboard, but that's probably about as close as you're going to get. That one was way up there.
And that wound up traveling at even 58 yards in the air, according to Next Gen Stats. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Being chased out left. And he's going to keep it here. And the Dolphins are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts as it'll come with 15 seconds to play in the first half. So 3 plays already 1st and goal, and they are wasting little time. He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. Durham Smythe as the first half is winding down, and the Dolphins add on to their lead. Little loft on that touchdown pass and sort of dropped it in the breadbasket perfectly.
Right in the bucket. And when you're coming out of college and you're a rookie in the NFL, sometimes you forget about the different types of throws you have to make. You just rely on your fastball and throw it as hard as you can all the time. But in this situation, he understood and threw it in a spot where only his receiver was going to get it and no one else. That was pretty.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. Fielded a couple yards into the end zone. Now a hit and a loose football.
Hey, get in there, give it to White. Jay, get in there, give it to White.
Dolphins.
Tua now on 1st down. This will be caught inside the 10. And he takes it down to the 10-yard line. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. So with 1 second left in the half, on is the field goal unit.
A 27-yard attempt.
Sanders' kick is good. And they will open things up a bit more. It's 24-7. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we send you up to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome, everyone, to this abridged version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. We saw a strong first half from our quarterback. His guys have the lead, as we'll hand it back over to our commentators, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Dolphins in front, and they'll be in possession of the football first as the second half gets started. This will make it into the end zone. And tackled at the 21-yard line, so a net negative there of 4 yards.
At their own 21.
Out comes the Dolphins now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
And they're able to get this one across the 35. Give them 14 on that one and a first down.
Run there by Matt Breida, and he spent the early part of his career in San Francisco sharing the backfield and sharing the ball. What you really want with him, open space and make sure he's touching it, because he can take it from 0 to the end zone in a very short amount of time.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Now Tua. And here is a leaping catch. He pulled it in. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 2 catches in the first half. Now he's got a third here, and it's good for a first.
How about a guy proving his worth in different ways? Had the big play in the run game to play before. This time, they go right back to him in the passing game, and he comes through with yet another big play. That's why you work out so hard in the offseason, so you can stay on the field and accumulate big plays.
And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling.
They're making it look easy out there. Another first down. So far in this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 first downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. So in Raven territory now. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 36. And he'll have a gain of 3 to the 33.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
And he almost intercepted it. They haven't picked a ball off yet. That probably should have been their first. And it's 3rd down now. Tagovailoa working out of the gun. It's complete to Grant. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Give him 10 yards there as this offense is on a roll. This drive continues to plunge forward. Whatever the discussions were at halftime to try to slow down this offense, it has not worked to this point.
Yeah, I have a vision right now of everything that was discussed at the half just being torn in shreds or being erased off of the Microsoft Surface tablets, because none of it is working. They are really locked in on offense.
Setting to throw on first down is Tua. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down. Third quarter from Miami. This is 2nd and 10. And he almost intercepted it. They haven't picked a ball off yet. That probably should have been their first. And it's 3rd down now. This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. Under pressure, and he'll go down. Sacked back at the 31. Malik Harrison coming in to drop him for a loss of 8. And it also brings up 4th.
And on that one, the protection just broke down.
You've got to have that leverage, don't you? We always talk about low man wins in the running game for an offensive lineman versus a defensive lineman. It's essentially the same thing in pass protection. Get lower than that defensive lineman so that you can keep your balance and keep him away from your guy trying to throw the football.
So put another 3 on the board. All things considered, a good opening drive to begin the 3rd quarter.
And as a defense, the way that this game is going, you're excited to see those points go on the board. Gives them a little bit of leeway to play with when they're out on the field, but they're real excited to see their offense score. Now they get to go out there and do their part.
And not willing to risk another fumble. He'll sit on this one. It's a touchback. The Ravens offense getting ready now for their first possession of the 2nd half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things work well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve.
2 yards on the pickup.
And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. This is the National Football League on EA Sports.
7. Ravens 7.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. From the gun, it's Jackson. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down. The Ravens on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 8. He may try and run for this. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. Jackson always a threat to run. He's got the first down. He was the NFL's leading rusher among QBs a year ago. With nowhere to throw it, decided to scramble, and a nice job, CD. Got the yardage that he needed.
Yeah, and his teammates are certainly going to appreciate that effort, even if his coaches don't, because they would have wanted him to slide and protect himself. But he chose team gain over personal protection.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. To throw is Jackson. They set up the screen for Dobbins. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. 3 yards the gain there, 2nd down.
38-yard line. It's a pickup of 3. Brings up 2nd and 7.
From the gun, Jackson. That's caught by the former Sooner, Mark Andrews. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. It's a first down on a gain of 10. Jackson from the shotgun. Stepping up, he's going to keep it. Jackson hit, and he lost the football. And this is picked up by the Dolphins. And the return out shy of midfield to the 46-yard line. And I don't know that fumble's going to matter a whole lot. You look at the deficit here in the 4th, it doesn't matter. The coach on the sideline still scratching his head.
Yeah, not only scratching his head, but probably writing a note or two about, we're going to address this come practice next week, because maybe that's the reason we're down this far. Doesn't matter at this point, but being sloppy throughout the game, not going to help him improve.
Tagovailoa and the Dolphins come up 1st and 10 at their own 46. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. The fourth quarter here, they've got the lead. They want to keep it on the ground. That's what they're doing.
Smart football. Keep the clock grinding, keep it going. But you got to figure now, they're going to see more people stacked up at the line of scrimmage as they try and bleed it out.
Another run with Gaskin. He'll be taken down at the 48 for a pickup of 2 yards.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now I could be in that huddle with that offensive line, and I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call a timeout. Run the football. We got control of this thing. Get him behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine. And he stopped after a gain of 1. Not enough. Still a yard to go on 3rd down.
It's a gain of a yard. Brings up 3rd.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he is going to have the Dolphins 1st down as they're able to convert on 3rd and short yardage with a gain of 4. Starting to look like this drive may be the final nail in the coffin.
Well, this is why you work out so hard, right? This is why you spend all that time in the offseason. This is why you have those OTAs and mini camps. For these situations, these scenarios, to run someone into the ground and secure a victory.
It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll bring up a 2nd and just about a few inches here. On the handoff, it's Gaskin. 9 yards on the play there, and it sets him up 1st and goal.
It carries like that. That's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, about that, a new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
Well, they probably don't need to run a play here, but you wonder if they're going to be able to resist on 1st and goal. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
Here I come! Here I come!
So a victory here for the Miami Dolphins. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the 2nd half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the 2nd quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a 2nd half. The adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the 2nd half, and no points were allowed. That's a great way to close them out.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. The Dolphins are winners here as we say so long from South Florida.